And so the implication is it's not just a hatred of Israel. There's an ocean of hatred for the Jews.
Yes.
Why is there so much hatred for Jews in the world?
I would say there's one reason in particular. It's a stupid and gullible person's easy answer. Why do certain things happen in the world? What is our explanation of chance or unfairness or any number of things? Easiest, stupidest person's explanation is there's a small group of people doing it.
Let's not say stupidest, because there's something in the human mind that craves a nice, clean theory of everything, right? That explains all the problems. It's not just stupidest.
Okay, let me reiterate. Lowest grade.
Right, because
lowest grade.
I have that desire too to simplify everything. Like
be a bit anti-Semitic. What?
We've all been anti-Semitic here and there. Just get a few vodkas. To find. Maybe it's the mathematician. It's like to find a simple explanation for everything.
Right.
That's nice for everything. Historians do this.
Absolutely.
Like,
I agree.
Analyzing why the Roman Empire collapsed. It's so nice to have one, especially if it's a counterintuitive explanation. It's one of the favorite go-tos, right? It's an explanation for all the problems in the world.
It's the lowest resolution analysis imaginable.
Why is there traffic? Why did my wife leave me? Why did my wife cheating on me? Why did I lose my job? Why did I not get the job? So even on the personal level.
Especially on the personal level. Why did I not get everything? Somebody must have held me back.
Yeah. And it's just that hatred of Jews has been such a popular go-to throughout history. You just always return back to the hits, I guess. And what is it special about the Jews as a group that people love to hate? Is it just because it's a small number of people?
I think it's several things.
Successful.
One is small and without by any means saying this is a general rule, but disproportionately highly accomplished in certain fields at certain times. Prominent is the word I would use. Prominent, slightly beyond their numbers in certain places. It's not a full explanation. All sorts of historic reasons why Jews were involved in banking. But then there are lots of historic reasons why the Scottish people, my own, were involved in banking. And to this day, you don't find many people who blame all international finance problems on the Scots. So there are just like easy grooves for people to fall into, it seems to me.
We should also mention, banking for some reason. Money is a thing that people go to, but Jews have been disproportionately successful in the sciences and engineering, mathematics,
yes,
and the arts and so on.
A sensible person would try to work out why that is and see what is replicable. I don't want to use the word stupid again now. A different type of person.
I'm triggered already.
A different type of person would look at that and say, that must mean they took something from me. And that's, the most zero-sum game there is. It's an endlessly fascinating subject because it seems to me that anti-Semitism is almost certainly a sort of ineradicable temptation of the human spirit at its ugliest and cheapest. But because it's back in our day, it bears some analysis again. And I would say two things about it. One is, as I and others have said many times in the past, one of the fascinating things about anti-Semitism is that it can cover everything at once. So the Jews get hated for being rich and for being poor. Both for being the Rothschilds and for being Eastern European Jews escaping the pogroms. They can be hated for being religious and for being anti-religious and producing Marxism, for instance. Hated for religiosity and secularism. They can be hated for, most recently, not having a state and therefore being rootless cosmopolitans, and also hated for having a state. And that makes it something very unusual, actually, in the history of human bigotry and, bias and ugliness. But the real thing is, one of my great heroes, Vasily Grossman, says at the center of life and fate almost everything that's worth saying about anti-Semitism, and it's Grossman's genius that he could say in 3 to 4 pages what most people couldn't say in an entire life, even after a life of study. But there's this passage in Life and Fate that I quote in my book, which is just bowled me over when I read it some years ago, when he says, the interesting thing about anti-Semitism, he says you can meet it everywhere, in the Academy of Sciences and in the games that children play in the yard. But Grossman's great insight is, he says, everywhere it tells you not about the Jews, but about the person making the claim. And the most important gift he gives in his analysis is when he describes it as a mirror to the person who is making the claims, culminating in this phrase I've been trying to make popular, which is, he says, tell me what you accuse the Jews of, I'll tell you what you're guilty of.